Okay, can I ask a question, Chris?
Yeah, sure. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Okay. Natalie, I'm sorry. I'm totally confused on this. I feel like it's a giant shell game because it's like where everything is and what's operational, what's not. So I'm trying to keep it clear in my head. What we approved in 2020, that that had GLA.
Right.
So by them moving it to a different spot, but they want to keep what was approved in 2020, does that still count as GLA even though it's not being used?
No.
So it's approved.
Only the GLA that's being used as leasable area is approved. So the 194 square feet that was designated to the coffee truck, it could be, if they installed it at that location, it would be 194 square feet in that location. If they install it at Niagara Court, it's 194 square feet at this location. They don't get any more or any less.
And you've done that with some of actually their building space.
Right, I
Mhm.
remember, but that again, I can't even understand how Gary can even keep track of GLA because
I agree.
it's crazy. But
One,
so the spot that they're moving to, 400 square, I think it was 400 square feet of that previously approved kiosk pad was abandoned and moved to Saratoga. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So then again, and I think, I don't know if you and Rick were at conflict with that, with where it wants to move to. If they abandon it, it's not approved anymore, right?
right. No, we
We're-
agree with
we're in
that.
agreement.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So do we look at this differently?
I don't think practically you look at it very differently. You have to look at it that, do we agree that this is a good spot for it? Obviously, you previously looked at it, so you've gone through some analysis, but you're not tied to that. But it makes sense to look at it. It's a spot that already has some of the infrastructure, that would go to it. So it makes a lot of sense to put it there. But if you had some objection that since that was approved, that you don't want it there for one reason or another, you'd still have the ability to do that.
But when it was approved for that spot, they weren't transporting anything from 1,000 feet away, were they, to that?
No.
No.
All right.
I don't really have a huge issue with where they want to put it. I mean, really, if they wanted to put it in the middle of the parking lot, that's up to the Commons. I mean, it's their space. They're going to do what they want to do with it. The only issue I have is leaving both sites approved at the same time. I feel like, typically when we approve something, we give everybody a year, right? A year to put a shovel in the ground, get work going. And then, if they don't do anything in a year, it's abandoned, the approval goes away. I don't like leaving anything out there for 2 years. A lot can change in 2 years. They've got this whole other renovation that could come in that's before us, that could come in the next 6 months. That could change the game of everything. So my only concern is leaving both sites approved for the coffee cart. That's really the concern I have.
I think,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was
No.
gonna say, to your point, Chris, it could be a condition of your action, right? That only one space that is this Niagara Court could be occupied for the next 2 years. And then, how that functions as part of your special permit. If there are any issues that are identified and reported to the building inspector, then that has to be renewed on an annual basis. Otherwise, what would happen, I think, abandoning the Polo Ralph Lauren location and saying that this Niagara location is the only approved spot, if you decide to do that, then the applicant would have to come back in 2 years for that Ralph Lauren location, which, as I think Rick had said, or somebody had said, if the conditions hadn't changed all that much, it would, just be an appearance before the board for you to consider.
I like that much better because, like I said, a
Yeah,
lot
exactly.
changes.
Absolutely.
I think it keeps it cleaner. It's
Yeah.
easier to follow.
I mean, other than that, I mean, if this is where
But this way we have a say if the conditions do change 2 years from now.
It may not be appropriate.
Natalie, I was typing something else. What was your brilliant solution that everybody likes?
I don't even know if I can say it again
Brilliance.
appropriately. No, just perhaps that a condition of your action would be that the approved coffee truck could only be located at the Niagara Court for 2 years. And then it would be reviewed on an annual basis as a special permit by Gary, which is typical of the special permits. If any issues were identified, that would be addressed on an annual basis and then reported to the planning board. Is that?
Or could it be that the site that's currently approved be abandoned and they would have to reapply 2 years from now?
Well, they would because this site would only be approved for 2 years. So in 2 years, right, they would have to come back and do something.
I don't know that it makes sense to only approve it for 2 years.
Yeah, if you
Abandon the other one. Just approve this one to
Yep.
abandon the other one, and then if they ever want to come back.
yeah, that's where I was going with
Another time, they'd come back then.
There you go, Tommy. So you can pay
Thank
for
you.
2 months.
that. I'm learning.
Sandy, thoughts, comments?
So say it again, because now I thought I heard
What,
two.
what I said was if we approve this new site, they would have to abandon the currently approved site. And then 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now, if they want to move back to the currently approved site, they would just have to reapply.
Is that what you said, Rick?
Yes, I think that it doesn't make sense to have a specific time frame on there for a couple of reasons. One, they may change. It may be they need it in a year and a half, or they may need it in 2 years and 4 months. And if it's set out there for 2 years, they'd have to come back for an amendment to try to put it someplace else. So I think you give them an approval here. And like I said before, you could either keep their other approval, but not allow a kiosk to be there until this one is abandoned. You've done that before. Or what Tommy's saying right now, which is that, and what Chris said earlier, is that if you want to move it to here, you get that to the new location, you get that one, but you have to abandon the other one to do that.
I like that much better.
So do I.
Rob, Rich,
I'm good. Good.
I know you guys, Jonathan and Natalie needed an amended site plan, right? You need that sent to you.
I think it would be helpful to have the site plan and then that kiosk plan that shows all of the active locations and then approved locations where there are alternates, including the information booth that was approved.
Would you be able to get that bill by the 19th?
Yes.
Okay, so then we could, because we need a public hearing, right, Rick?
Yes.
Okay, so that we could schedule a it's gonna be public hearing night, June 2nd here at the planning board.
Hey,
Hopefully
Rich,
we're still zooming.
Rich, I just had one question. Does it require a public hearing since both locations doesn't, while we may have abandoned one location, it had prior approval, and the location hasn't changed from the original approvals, other than the fact that the GLA was moved somewhere else. Does it still require a public hearing because nothing has really changed on either application in terms of what they look like, the size they are, et cetera?
Well, you are amending the prior approvals in the sense that now you're going to be moving it to one location and abandoning it in the location that it was destined for and approved in 2020.
Right.
And the code doesn't go into any more detail than that. If you need to amend, if it's required to amend a site plan or a special permit, you have to have a public hearing, no matter how big or small the amendment is.
Okay.
Sandy, you had a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to know the seating at the new spot. Is that going to be identical to what it was that we approved on the 2020?
There is seating at this location already. It's part of the normal or everyday seating area that we have. I'll have to go over this with Polo to just see if they're going to add any other seating, but I don't think it's really going to be much more than what we currently have, and it won't obviously exceed what they were proposing in the first location, but we'll update that on the plan that we send to Natalie.
Okay, thank you.
Any from the board, any other comments, questions, or concerns for this applicant? Okay, I'll offer a motion to schedule a public hearing for June 2nd.
Seconded.
Second by Robert. Any questions? All in favor? Aye.
Chris?
Yes, Rick.
One other thing that you could do is seeker and just reaffirm that this application of moving the kiosk location does not change the prior seeker approval, and therefore you are just reestablishing the prior seeker findings and approval.
I'll make a motion that we reaffirm prior secret findings and approvals for this site, for this
Second.
application, sorry.
I'll second.
Sandy, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, so I think that's everything I got. Oh, this GML's got to go out, Rick?
Yes. If it hasn't already, I haven't seen that it has, but it's.
I didn't see anything either, so. Okay, I think that's everything on your notes too. Natalie, anything else?
No, I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Okay, so Bill, you'll get it all in by the 19th, right? In order to make your public hearing for the second?
We will do that.
Okay, very good, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Thanks, everyone.
Come on, it's only 9:30. We got like another hour.
And last week, it's an easy one.
Yeah, we're not going till midnight, so that's good.
Motion to close,
I'll second.
second by Tommy. Anybody, all in favor? Anybody opposed?
Aye.
All right, have a good night, everybody. See you soon.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good
Night
night,
all.
everybody.